Yes, so hello everybody. I believe I'm loud and clear to everybody. And so this is the session. Specifically, I requested Pawan to start with uh, something that people actually look for it in terms of guidance, like how correctly they need to start their DevOps journey. Specifically, it is meant for people who are starting their career in DevOps, and maybe for also for the people who know DevOps, but they are a little bit uh, like learning from everywhere, trying to complete their job, but they don't know the clear guidance on how to clear the interview, how to move further on this area, and how to be successful in the job if they are doing something similar kind of work, or they are planning to move their career into this area. So let's start with this quote. If you don't have a correct guide, it may take you a few hours and maybe month more. So uh, guide like Pawan are definitely much needed for us to help us out in terms of to guide in a specific area. So as you know, we are multi-cloud for you. We stand for evangelism, community, bridge between corporate and startups. There are multiple sessions that are lined up either directly with the corporate or with the startups. We bring real engineering out of their bunkers, real engineers out of their bunker. Thus means that we do not just emphasize on the speaker who are well known, the trainer who are well known, the people who are well known. We know that there are many hidden talent in our industry. They never come out from actually come out from their working career, and they never come out and speak out on what the magic they have done to their organization, to themselves, or in terms of learning new thing. So we try to motivate them, try to bring them out, and try to give a platform where they can come and speak and let other know what they know differently than others. Guide the engineering community, and that's where we guide the engineering community, because those people actually have the correct knowledge of what is being happening at the ground, because they are handling their businesses, they are handling their uh, teams, they are handling a complete product in the background, and they know how things are actually running at the on the ground. It's not just speaking out or reading a book and just coming out and saying something which doesn't matters for the business a lot, because if even if you sell it out, these are the people who actually sell run it on the ground. We do consultancy, we do community. Obviously, we have multiple community. We are product and research firm, and obviously our core is multi-cloud and data. We love to talk on different topic, and we are our team is also get expertise in that multi-cloud strategy, data science and AI, blockchain, extreme engineering. If we talk about fifthir.com, we have developed it as a product. Obviously, it's evolving day on day, and it's more on engaging everyone, bringing them on the same platform. There, anyone can host event. The event becomes a course later, and then that recorded course is always available. People can do that course, take certificate for free, and even people can come here, launch a paid course, recorded course, or direct live events or sessions, and then they can get paid for it, they can get rewarded for it. We're also coming up with a royalty option for people who are also giving free event, and later on, if their courses get hit, or by any chance if you get any sponsor, they will also be the part of uh, that earning framework. It's a SaaS-based self-service platform. We connect technology from startup and corporate. It's transitional support to fifth IR. Obviously, we have seen it into different digital transformation journey. What are the challenges that companies are facing? What are the challenges that people are facing? And we're trying to resolve that out. So we have the impact all over the globe. This is how the current analytics charts looks like, and obviously this is month on month changing. So you see India, US, and most of the part we have covered on. People from all over the world join us in our event. This is the starting your DevOps journey by Pawan Nayakanti. I will, without taking further ado, I will ask Pawan to take on the stage and then start his session. Pawan, it's all yours. Pawan, Pawan, are you able to hear me? So anyway, till Pawan is able to fix its mic. Guys, I believe you are able to hear me. If you can, anyone can ping me and tell me that if it's okay. Okay, okay, cool. So yeah, Pawan, if you can rejoin. Uh, I ping Pawan. In the meanwhile, what I can do is let me detail about Pawan. So Pawan is a DevOps architect at Iris Software. He's ex Microsoft. He has worked in multiple company. When I was there in Microsoft 10 years back, Pawan was a DevOps test engineer where he used to automate a lot of data warehouse test cases, and they were very niche at that point of time. Even we worked on the very basics of Azure platform when it was being built on while reviewing it or doing multiple courses. He's a solution architect, senior solution architect. He is currently based in Canada, and this is a LinkedIn profile. Um, you can connect with him. Uh, so this is me. I am inventor, leader, mentor, founder, enabler. I have multi decades of direct service to the IT industry. I am ex-publicist, Sapient, RBS, Microsoft, and with that I have done a lot of I've done consultancies with multitude of companies, Satyam, MX, in the government and in the NGOs, multiple places. Uh, Currently, I'm the founder of Multi Cloud for You, and this is my LinkedIn profile. So obviously Pawan has joined, and I believe uh, Pawan, are you able to hear us now?
Hello.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So yeah, Pawan, all yours. Pawan, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Uh, Not able to hear here. One minute.
It's Ratul. I think we can. I can hear Pawan. Are you able to hear him? Cool.
Can you confirm if you are able to if you are able to hear me? I'm somehow I'm not able to hear anything.
Yeah, actually,
Not sure. Is this okay if I can continue as is? Okay, fine. Hello everyone. I'm Pavan Nayakanti. By virtue, I'm an automation enthusiast. Tool and technology agnostic. Basically, I have been working for in the areas of test automation, process automation, DevOps automation since last close to 2 decades. Been working in IT since 2002 for diverse clients associated with technology and finance and banking. Mostly, I've been working for Bank of America, Microsoft, Adobe, Royal Bank of Canada, Charles Schwab at the capacity of full-time employer and consultant as well. Since last couple of years, I have been associated with very focusedly working on DevOps automation prospects. And this is pretty much about me. And So today, my focus areas happens to be like a right place to learn DevOps and right things to learn about DevOps. I mean, when Anjani asked me about the topics I can do best, actually, several ideas started bombarding in me all directions. Actually, what should I choose? Actually, what can I make relevance? How it can be kept influenced? Most of the audience must be coming from different levels of experience, diverse backgrounds, diverse technologies, and in fact, most of them would have already gone through detailed videos available online. In fact, then thought probably a tiny flash. Why not about focus areas to be covered when we are learning or implementing DevOps? Let me promote the DevOps in the perception of a concept rather promoting a tool or technology. I mean, mostly probably you would have already gone through the several videos about through AWS, GCP, and Microsoft Azure. In fact, I'm not going to getting into that direction. Here, I gathered few focus areas which I believe could more make more relevant and give some value. They could come useful for them who are normally who are into pitching DevOps for clients or attend the interviews among DevOps positions. For beginners, it could be informative. For experienced, it can be rehearsing. So let me dive into the topics without a delay. What has immediately pops in the mind moment I ask, how should I start my process of learning DevOps? By any chance, are you seeing any among them? Kubernetes, GCP, containers, AWS, obviously IaaS, PaaS,
You can ping.
SaaS, could
Yeah, yeah, you can
several
parallelly ping.
tools, several platforms, several providers. These things. Obviously, you people might be. I mean, whoever starting with DevOps might be starting with one of those technologies. Well, I agree that there are plethora of starting points available to start and swim with DevOps, but as you might be knowing, there are more and better topics uh, which can make more relevance. I understand, but let me iterate again. DevOps is not about the tool or technology, but it is about the concepts and process. What could be some of the topics which can make relevant over here? So just give a quick walkthrough over the topics. Actually, it could be like you can focus on the smart commits, Git branching, branch production rules, pull request, merge conflicts, tagging releases, branch locking, code reviews, unit testing, code scanning, code coverage, code styling, vulnerability scanning, approval workflows, acceptance gains, schedule builds, packaging, compression encryption, environment gates, tokenization. Hope I'm not taking a little longer actually, but definitely this is the kind of picture, I mean, which you can provide a list of topics. Normally you can focus whenever you are preparing for what do you say for interviews or pitching these things. Actually, tools and technologies a different plate, but this plate is completely you must be for one must be focusing on whenever one is getting into the DevOps. I can strongly recommend this list actually. Whenever you are providing a solution or whenever you are pitching something, try to address these kind of areas actually whenever you are talking about this DevOps. It's of course the list could might not be exhaustive, but definitely I believe this must be a sufficient list. I would guess. Now coming back to okay, now this is a DevOps story has always been no different to the story like an elephant in the dark room. Let me see if I can put them in a sequence and answer. There are several questions are there. There are several concepts are there. Uh, like DevOps is a subset of IT ops. Is does DevOps owns the production assets? Can AF sustain? Is the run the bank, change the bank is going to be history? Yeah, this is a main important topic actually. I mean, like right now, the trend which you are going right now. I mean, a decade ago, not a decade ago, I guess. I mean, at least 3 or 4 years ago, if you're working for any bank or something like that, obviously you might be coming across this concept like run the bank and change the bank. The development team and the operations team used to be a kind of separate entities, and it used to be kind of isolated areas, workspaces actually. They never used to interact with each other. The only way we interact with them is with the service now. I mean, any kind of ticket, service now tickets, or And with the service now tickets, normally we exchange our artifacts to get deployed. They will approve them, they will review them, get it approved. There will be obviously several questions will be there. You need to address all of them. Then they will take it and get it deployed to production. Obviously, in a bank, doing some kind of change is a kind of humongous effort. Definitely, who people are working with the financial firms or bankings definitely know about, familiar, aware about these things. I'll try to cover some of the topics associated in this area in coming upcoming slides. Um, Now, initially, the moment when we come to discussing or proposing a plan for DevOps, these things, obviously there are three will be top influences while designing a solution or implementing a solution. One thing is, no, I normally call it as a PPT, as a short term for people, process, tools. Of course, these segments will remain constant and standard for any type of implementation, development, testing, DevOps. Could be anything, but for DevOps, these are the definitely you can put every other activity what you perform or what you need to plan will come into this bucket. First segment is happens to be your people. It's a development team, release management team, operations team will happen to be your primary stakeholders for DevOps. Of course, product owner is also considered as a part of development team. So the change management, configuration management will be a mostly key focus areas where a DevOps a team or a DevOps individual will be focusing on. It's about the process is obviously we need to understand about the process, like how the development processes has been happening, how the change management happens, how the release management is happening. And so obviously we need to be familiar and need to understand about the firm, what it has been adopted. Obviously, it's of course it's an obvious expectation, but I mean, whenever we are preparing some kind of questionnaire or content, something like that, try to put them in three different buckets. I mean, you can put a questions onto client that what kind of process you follow for release management. Does I mean any kind of a standard approval process to be follow whenever we are shipping a product to dev, test, UAT, and production, something like that. So the moment you put these questionnaires, then obviously the answers whatever you get, so either you can enhance and improve the experience, or you can eliminate the redundancies or gaps or waste, etc., something like that, or you can come up with a new process which you feel that which can make more impact. The next set is the tools is the one thing where actually obviously, so the tools is a space where also you need to understand whenever if it is a startup, something like that, probably they can come to you and ask for a question that what would be my preferred tool set. I mean, I need to purchase or something like that, or I need to adopt for a better reason. I mean, which can give me a kind of economically beneficial, and at the same time technically I'll be able to match the expectations, something like that. So obviously tools will be the another segment which you need to study, and probably if there is any available tool set, so probably we'll be adopting them and try to find out whether we can utilize the same things, same tools, and probably we can achieve the solution. If there is something more is required, then obviously we'll be recommending for purchasing them or something like that, procurement. So these are the three areas which we need to focus on, or these are the three influencers which will be actually defining our type of working or kind of work what we are going to take up. The three entities in continuous delivery and their priorities where we are getting impacted. So engineering team, IT operations team, and CI/CD team. CI/CD team is actually nothing but DevOps team, but actually it's never been DevOps team. But I mean, we can't call it as a DevOps team actually, but for the time being, we'll call it as a CI/CD team. I'll tell why I can't call the DevOps team. Any questions so far? Sorry, actually, I'm not able to hear anything, but hopefully, can I continue?
Guys, you can type your question in the chat. Yeah, I think
Okay.
this is going great.
Fine. I assume it as a okay. Sorry, not able to hear anything, Anjani. Okay, fine, great. The three entities in CD and their priorities. The typical duties of engineering team involves with designing, development, testing, and own the development assets, obviously. And the operations team are have got a several goals like ensuring safety and health of the production assets, availability of services, data security, keeping the operating costs minimum possible, maximizing the customer satisfaction, constant feedback to engineering team. I believe, to the best of my knowledge, whatever the their objectives or their goals falls in these five categories. And the CACD team normally happens to be like responsible for designing and developing build and deployment solutions. Okay, these are the like completely kind of exclusive roles and responsibilities. Okay, now what are the typical uh, things we get to hear from each engineering team? Like sorry, for each stakeholder, their philosophies. Normally, engineering teams will be optimistic. IT ops team will be pessimistic, and CSCD will be sounds like idealistic. Why? Because anywhere you go, with any kind of company or organization, actually, engineering team will be mostly will be optimistic. Like they will always keep saying that this will work, this will definitely should work. It might. They won't say never say like that. It might work. It might not work. Something else. IT operations team always sounds pessimistic. What if it fails? What if it doesn't works? I can't take these things. No, I can't accept these kind of things. You can't do this change. Something like this. Where CSCD team will be idealistic, like they define the standards. We are expected to establish the right policies, right expectations. So normally we never get into yes or no's, but actually it will be like idealistic or realistic statements we go with. Like it must be in this way. It cannot be in this way. So whenever we are working in any kind of environment, obviously you should go with this kind of a kind of mindset. Obviously, this will be a huge success factor for any DevOps guy. I'm not sure why did I put this slide actually, but probably I thought probably it can make relevance. Like probably it might help us to understand the kind of what to say, the kind of people what we end up with actually. So obviously, whenever you see any organization, definitely you'll find the same kind of mindset with three different entities in the continuous delivery. Normally, what we call as we DevOps team as called as enablers. And IT ops team will be responsible and accountable for provisioning and sustaining. Like they will be doing like procurementing these things, and they will sustain the applications. So these are the major goals. And optimistic, engineering team will be always changes. They keep changing. They keep pushing the major releases, minor fixes, major fixes, blah. So they always keep trying to do the change to the existing system, and they try to keep it more evolved, to keep it be improving the system. Obviously, operating system keeps saying no, 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 I can't do this, I can't do this, because it's obviously the kind of trust factor what normally which plays a major role to resist the changes. Actually, they always try to keep the lights on and keep the vehicle running as long as it goes. So changes obviously will be scared of changes. So whereas CSCD team like are responsible to like enabling the things, I'll try to bridge the gaps between development team and operations team and try to find out the right solutions over there so that we can convince each other, both the teams. Okay, now I'll come to the evolution of role segregation, how it has, been evolving actually. Around a decade ago, there has never been a kind of a dedicated DevOps team or something like that. Normally, people, whoever used to be in the development team themselves used to take care about the responsibilities of developing a CI/CD pipeline and try to address the manual activities, whatever they've been performing in building deployment tool, they used to address them. So this is a story, I think around 5 or 6 years ago, I guess, or more than that. So normally engineering team will be owning our product backlogs and will be source code management. In fact, they are the owners, primary owners for the engineering team. And operations team completely don't have any kind of control or own, owning these kind of entities like SEM or work item management. Normally, they focus on this ITL, typical service lifecycle, service strategy, service design, transition, service operations, continuous service improvement, and they controls the manifest YAML files. It's like manifest YAML files means it could be like deployment steps or completion management or change. So obviously, I'm taking it as a kind of manifest files as I'm considered as like a manifest files. No, normally what happens is take care about. I mean, like they own these values, your credentials, information, is that IAM authentication, whatever it is. So they own all these things. For test, at least test UAT and production, obviously they will be owning them. CI/CD team is a typical responsibilities like design and build a deployment solution, establishing release management processes for promoting builds for non-product production, ensures the right builds gets deployed to the right environments, versioning, compressing, encrypting builds, coach the stakeholders about ideal DevOps practices and tools. This has been story when a CI/CD team used to call it as a build and tools team. Now what happened? I mean, like in the evolution, actually. So when the DevOps or DevSecOps came into the picture, actually. So the ideal, I mean, the obvious expectation was for the enterprises was to merge both the CI/CD team and IT ops team. Um, so here now the thing what happened is people used to suppose, I mean, like right now we are seeing this kind of evolution right now. I mean, so the concept has been in market in several
There is there's one
years actually,
question.
but right now people are exactly moving towards this kind of culture. Now people are, I mean, expected that the CI/CD team also sits with along with the IT ops team and provide the DevOps solutions. Now what is making difference? The major difference what you're seeing is the additional responsibilities for IT ops team and CI/CD team. Um, now, now the thing is, so if you are looking at this responsibility, so right now all these things, I mean, like there is no kind of very thin line difference. There is no difference between ops team and CI/CD team. They are expected to both doing the automation, DevOps automation, as well as at the same time they need to support the assets. They need to support the hardware, software, networking, load balancing, disaster recovery, fault tolerance, all these things. So there will be equal responsibility. So this is the enterprises are moving towards right now. I know that people, I mean, everybody is understanding about how the this microservices architecture and the deployment, obviously, how it is leading to. Everybody is perfect about those areas. Now I'm talking about the major responsibilities is getting changed for a DevOps guy actually. So probably what it is making difference. I mean, like whenever we for the, I mean, like not familiar something like that, along with your CI/CD automation ideas, you need to be, I mean, like familiar with, not even familiar, you need to be expertise with how to do this kind of troubleshootings with load balancing, networking, or you need to be understanding like disaster, how to set up the disaster recovery, how to incorporate the disaster recovery setup in the process of DevOps pipeline. This will be the obvious expectation. So, I mean, need to be prepared for these things. There are equal benefits of merging both DevOps and operations teams together. For business, it could be like, I mean, the time to market, ready to market will be like enormously expediting actually. I mean, obviously, they won't see any gaps between the operations and the, I mean, like CI/CD team. It will be very quicker for them to ship anything from development team to the production. So that would be an advantage. But whereas for CI/CD team, it could be a little overhead for overtaking the responsibilities of the routine operations activities as well. So probably this could be little overhead, but the trend what I'm seeing right now, the market is going towards this kind of culture. So be preparing for this thing. Other, I mean, in addition to the learning CI/CD feature, I mean, like topics, you need to understand about, like you need to get familiarity with familiarize with the operations activities as well. Okay, if it is already those operations guys are there, so obviously they need to learn CI/CD features. I mean, automation technologies, tools, and technologies. They need to get familiar with these things. So this is where we are going towards. The next development is going towards GitOps team. The major difference, what you get to see is actually earlier, we never used to have a kind of one the SE. I mean, like we never, ops team never used to have control over the Git SEM Git. But the moment the kind of manifest files, YAML files are getting towards these things, actually, right now, engineering team, CI/CD team will be taking the primary responsibility. How the infrastructure is to must be looking like infrastructure as code. Obviously, CI/CD team will be defining the policies for infrastructure as code, and engineering team and CI/CD team will be controlling the manifest files. So it will be a kind of mutual goal, or could be like either of them will be owning this thing. So every change, whatever it goes to from engineering team to operations or production environment, will be going through mutual reviews, mutual agreements, etc., and then it will be going. So there's a kind of a thin line difference what you can get to see. I mean, now the next point is still we are going further actually. So where the trend is moving towards ML ops, AI ops, chart ops, content ops, where the major, obviously, since the beginning, there has been an obvious expectation that our operations team keeps sending the feedback about their applications, the kind of their behavior, the kind of pattern, failure patterns. So obviously they need to study the logs, they need to study the systems, they need to understand whatever the understanding happens, they need to will be passing them to the engineering team, whether they like. So all these things used to happen. Now, obviously, can we expect that engineering team will be able to understand those outcomes, findings, and immediately will be able to do convert into work items? Probably it might be overhead for them as well, for the engineering team as well. So obviously the expectation is to automate this process. So like, for example, I'm taking a lame example, like just to understand, there might be a bunch of logs might be getting generated at the operations and production side. So as part of your continuous monitoring, so what happens is we need to, an ML model can be introduced over there, and to scan through your logs, the understand the pattern of the logs, and try to come up with some kind of inferences, bring out some insights using some ML models, train the data, and pull the model. So whatever the outcome is, actually put that, instead of inferences, we'll be sending the data insights as well to the engineering team. Now, what happens is if you are going with the AI ops, for the ML ops, probably might be ending up with the data insights actually, but AI ops might be giving some solutions for automated activities as well. Like something, if it finds some kind of pattern or something like that, obviously AI ops will be able to take up some kind of applying some deep learning or something like that. We can come up with action items as well, like so perform do so and so activity whenever you find this pattern. Of course, we are still evolving during the process, but at least for the ML ops, so right now there are several products are offering out of the box features. For example, ServiceNow is there. Right now, it is already providing out of the box features to scan through the logs and come up with some kind of good inferences and good insights, which can put the findings can be automatically logged as a work items in the Jira, so that in the product backlog, so that they will be, in turn they can trash them, and they can pull them into the active sprints and weekly sprints, so whenever the engineering team is working on those things. So these things will reduce the kind of effort of manual efforts to involve them. To draw some inferences from the feedback, whatever is provided for the ops team. Chat ops is another concept is getting evolved, or is already been evolved. Is it evolving actually? So right now, so trying to address, instead of operations team, engineering teams, CI/CD teams has to work with n number of tools and technologies to accomplish one objective. Like they will be working with Jira, they will be working with GitHub, they will be working with build tools, deployment tools, monitoring tools, Kafka, dashboards, etc. There are a number of tools, but chat ops is actually is expected to give a kind of a unified solution for them. Instead of, for example, an end user need not go across operations guy need not go across all these tools to find out the things and put some requests. Chat house might give some kind of a easy option to log it interface where operations guy and so log it. I mean, type something like that. I found something a problem so and so system at so and so time, and probably this could be the reasonable these things. So obviously the chat. I mean, the system behind the solution is expected to automatically the chat text and automatically logs a ticket with engineering team, and the engineering team can do the similar thing with the operations team. So that's the kind of interface. So obviously what happens is it will reduce the learning whatever is associated with learning these new tools actually. So obviously this learning new things will be a huge overhead for the any teams or any individual. So obviously these kind of solutions will be able to bring down the learning curve. At the same time, they will be more effective and more productive doing these activities. Just imagine there is some kind of P1 issue and some your service now or Zira is down at that moment, or something is not working. It would be really cumbersome, or it would be really might be agitating for the operations guy to wait till the tool comes up, or that till the platform comes up to log a ticket. Or engineering team, same could be happening with the engineering team, where chat apps can reduce the footprint of those tools, and it just will be using the respective APIs of those systems and will be running the system as is. So that's one thing, the chat ops. The content ops is still give an example understood correctly. Just talking about. Okay, ServiceNow is mostly as a ticketing system, I would say. So typically, it's mostly aligned with your ITL service lifecycle. Actually, it will be able to handle the typical operations and activities. Undertaken by the operations teams. It starts from procurement to ticketing system. Mostly, suppose for example, an user comes actually where he'll pick up a phone and it will call level 1 guys and it will say some problem actually. So these guys immediately log a ticket, and it will further will get into the level 2, and it will automatically gets reassigned to the respective system whichever the problem is assigned with. And of course, release management is also associated in the same process actually. I mean, whenever we are supposed to ship our product from development environment to production, or UI to production, so obviously still the banks follow this typical life cycle, I mean approval life cycle, where the things is supposed to get reviewed for different stakeholders associated with the system. So this is a kind of a workflow kind of experience is offered by the service now, where every activity is tracked by a unique number. So, and depending upon the workflow, it will go to the different stakeholders that get it reviewed and get it approved. So SLS can be tracked over there. So these are the kind of random things which are getting popped up in my mind. But at the end of the day, these are the typically service now operations are involved with. I hope, did I answer your question? Okay. Fine, thank you. So these are the source segregations actually. So this is where we are getting in evolved with. So the major thing, yeah, sure, I'll try to answer the questions after completing my slide. Now, so the major thing what I'm trying to promote is IT operations team. So they are responsible for your, as I said, right, IT service lifecycle. They take care of those tickets. They take care of the production assets. They take care of you about your hardware, account, billing and accounting. They take care of these technical things associated with your operating systems. It could be, I mean, of course, it's on-premise. If it is a cloud, they will be taking care of your production instances. They will be taking care of your networking, load balancing, disaster recovery, fault tolerance. They will define these policies. So ultimately, they own the application in the production environment. So, okay. Did I answer your question? Operations team, I mean, each uh, it might be called, I mean, referred is a different name. Normally, in some companies, it might be called as an information technology operations team. It could be like a production support team, or could be like a sustenance support team. So names could be different. At the end of the day, they own the production environment. That's it. Where engineering team is only responsible for development, as they are own for development and test assets. So these guys own the production environment, and you add to some extent. Okay. A few of the IT roles are done by development team. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the change. What I'm trying to address. I mean, finding this thing. Since production, I mean, it could be related to a cost factor, or it could be related to the technology factor. Right now, only one team is owning all the environments, like development, test, or including the production as well. As I said, right, there are two advantages. I mean, pros and cons with this thing. Uh, you are owning production as well. I mean, you are got a. I mean, there is a saying that I mean, the uncle of Superman said, Ben. I guess I remember Ben. With great power comes with a great responsibility. So same thing. I mean, just imagine you are having the change management, configuration management under your control, and you are shipping the same product to production. Something goes wrong, or I mean, you got entire all the power to manipulate the assets in production. I mean, probably this kind of culture works very well with the startups or something like that, where with small teams, something like that. But just assume that things, the same kind of culture happening in a banking system. Just imagine a consultant came from the outside world, and he started with providing these DevOps solutions. Just imagine he's having the control of change management of production system as well. Now, can a leadership trust a consultant who came from outside? Can they assure about the data loss, or data insecurity? I mean, security, or data breaching. These things are the things majorly has they have to address. So the strategy, I mean, the process for including this kind of culture is still evolving the banking and finance industries, finance environments, organizations. But starters, it might work, no problem. Development team can own all the environments. There is no problem. I mean, like they shipping a product to from non-production environments to production will be a lot require a lot faster. Yeah, product owner will be super happy because everything will be happening in a short time span. The cost will be reduced, obviously. So they did not pay much for consultants for the longer period. So obviously the cost factors will make a sense. Just imagine the only con is what if this data is like a PA information is there in production, and what if the data gets abused? So this is the thing actually will keep a thin line difference about implementing this kind of culture across startups and bankings and finance. So obviously, again, the suggestion or advice over here is try to come up with a feasible solution. I mean, to keep these things in mind and try to come up with a solution. I mean, I'm not advocating any kind of ideal solution over here at this point of moment, probably, but definitely in future sessions, I'll try to, as soon as I get a concrete solution with me, then I'll try to share the ideal practices. How can we implement those things? So for bankings and finances as well. Did I answer to your question? Okay. Okay. Now, the another thought process or the thing I want to share with you actually is with whenever you are starting your DevOps assignment at the client's location or your organization, whatever it is, probably you should go with the phase-wise implementation, obviously. So normally it starts with getting started. So everyone must start somewhere. Actually, in this stage, you are setting the direction of your DevOps transformation, including organizational assessment and awareness. Of course, I'm putting all the kind of findings and learnings in one slide over here. Management commitment, measure DevOps maturity assessment, goals has to be set, address organization barriers. A few driving will be the initiative actually. I mean, start with the small teams and try to expand it more depending upon the findings. During the as part of piloting, you will be going to the executive alignment. Like you need to put the people's, I mean, like people under. I mean, you need to identify the right people and you need to give the right access to them actually. Conduct basic trainings, adopts the DevOps culture, break down the barriers, something like that. I mean, you need to call all the people and need to educate them what you are gonna do and how it is gonna change the process. What is the ROI we are gonna get? What is the benefit we are gonna give? So you need to be very. I mean, all these things has to be well defined and well documented and build collaboration across the teams. In fact, every other assignment what I worked so far, actually, I went through all these phases and I try to address every other factor and every other goal or defined over here. The third one phase will be implementing. So give the role-based trainings for the developers. What would be their activities actually? I mean, like what they are gonna perform, what kind of tools they are gonna use. Obviously, I mean, probably who are familiar with DevOps or like culture in, 8 out of 10 people who work in US or Canada actually happens to be like consultants. Normally, they will be expertise with their tools and technologies and platforms. So learning something new or something, it could be a little overhead for them, and there could be resistance from their end as well. Normally, this kind of culture, what I see, different actually. So try to focus on these trainings as well. So try to give some kind of documentation, kind of workshop, something like that, and try to educate them. Uh, uh, so try to put some kind of standardization and try to set some kind of maturity levels with the DevOps. Remove the organizational impediments. I mean, like, it won't be like, see, for example, for in an instance, probably if you are creating by the DevOps solution on your own, in a cloud could be straightforward. I don't deny that thing, but obviously, the access and these things, I mean, the amount of access, the authorization and authentication could be devastating if you are giving if you're not giving in the right amounts or right levels. So you need to take care of those things. Actually, we are supposed to define who is going to do what and what they are going to do. So you need to focus on those things as well. One more thing, the next thing is relevant metrics and reporting. This is the thing, another thing that we need to focus on. So, see, developing a CI/CD solution is I believe probably anybody one can do actually. But what is the next thing is what is the ROI benefit? What you are trying to do, and how do we monitor the progress exactly? I mean, how the system is behaving, how the outcomes are there. So, and so obviously you need to come up with a dashboard solution and try to read the metrics from various systems and try to put them in the dashboards and try to reflect them at the enterprise level or leadership level. This is another objective what I recommend actually. At the enterprising cross-functional teams, yeah, obviously you'll find the cross-functional teams. Of course, I'm talking in terms of like any bank or financial firm. For startup, probably you might not find a cross-functional teams actually, but if you are having, yeah, try to address them as well. Real-time metrics, continuous feedback, always the production feedback has to go to engineering team. It has to be like a daily routine process. I mean, like it must be within the DNA of our SDLC. Culture adopted, obviously managing infrastructure as a flexible resource. Obviously, this is the where we are moving towards. I mean, our DevOps solution must be must have accommodate like rapid changes as well. So either you are going with a vertical scaling or horizontal scaling. I mean, I'm taking the example again. So it must be quicker actually. So that's one thing. So managing the technical depths. This is one focus. What you need to focus. I mean, like, so what are the kind of lags or gaps are happening across the process in the previous phases? I mean, like creating the activity directory group could be one simple activity. Some organizations takes 5 or 6 weeks for the entire cycle to get accomplished. Try to focus them and try to see where we can exactly hit the nail over there. So, probably you might be creating a bunch of security groups or IAM users or anything in the process of development. try to keep them only relevant in the system. Rest of the things, unnecessary things or unwanted things, you should be cleaning up them right away. They are not any kind of, these are kind of considered to be a technical debts. Actually, these are supposed to be get removed and cleaned up right away. Otherwise, they will end up as a penalties in the later phases. So need to focus on focus on this thing as well. Automate and reduce the manual involvement to the extent possible. Either it could be like it might look small or something like that, but definitely if there is any chance or something like that, try to automate those things. Experiment and measure, try to do the things actually, I mean, like take up try to do POCs, try to do wireframes, try to do prototypes, come up with something. I mean, it could be giving a 1 minute benefit also, try to address them. Actually, probably if you automate something, probably it might be saving 1.5 minute of an individual. Let's not leave that as well, try to focus that as well. It could be sounding a little effort, I mean, a little value today, but definitely when you try to scale up these kind of services at an enterprise level, obviously 1.5 minute for 1,000 users, you are saving around 1,500 minutes per day. Just imagine. So try to focus on those areas. Then move to cloud, improving the system availability and customer satisfaction. As you said, the culture is moving on-premise. There are three areas like on-premise. I mean, every organization you will find on-premise applications are there, hybrid applications are there, and cloud applications are there. Try to give the solutions for every other area. Try to come up with, I mean, despite the organization might be moving towards cloud, but till that point, actually, you will need to give value for on-premise applications as well. Try to automate them as well. I mean, try to recommend these things. It barely takes any time to automate them, but definitely it will give value for the client. So try to focus on them, all the areas equally. Predominantly, will be going towards moving towards the cloud. I mean, there are, I mean, as a DevOps guy, you can go and analyze your application and see if you can directly shift and lift your application directly to the cloud, do some kind of performance assessments, come up with the metrics, compare it with on-premise application. If you find it equal and good, try to push it for the promote the application to the cloud. These are the additional things what you can perform as a DevOps guy. Obviously, this need not to be defined by the client actually, but definitely it will add value for a DevOps guy. So this is another area what I strongly recommend and advocate for the DevOps guys. Focus on these areas. I'm sure you can find a humongous success in DevOps space. So this my happens to be my last slide. Okay. Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, please type in your question if you have any. Certificates, because this is not a specific course, so we have like certificates always set up. You guys can ping us.
Hello.
Uh, yes, Pawan.
Sorry, I'm not able to, won't be able to hear anything actually. So if you have any questions, you can.
Yeah, you guys can type in, and for certificate, there may be some issue this time. We have already, like, we are, let me announce the code, which is, just give me a moment. So, obviously, guys, if you have any question, please continue the chat with Pawan. Try to ask any question if you have. He will be more than happy to answer you, or if you got confused on any of his topic or discussion, you can just cross question him. Code for this session is uh, dev or pn, but this will only work if we have at least 5 people pinging us on telegram, and once we inform, you can get your certificate from here. Even you can try this now, but looks like there would be a, like, because it's not enabled, so there you may get some issues. But you can ping us on telegram. We have already sent you the details. If there are more than 5 people who are interested in the certificate, they can get the certificate from this code. We'll have to enable it from background, and we can enable it within a short notice. So thank you everybody. Thank you everybody for joining this session. And obviously Pawan will request Pawan to come up with, because there's a lot of processes and tools he has talked about. There are challenges he has talked about, and how to resolve that he has already talked about. So thank you everyone for joining. I will request Pawan for more session
I
which will
assume
be
you are
more deep
closing.
dive.
So thanks very much, Anjani, for having me here.
Yes.
Uh, Probably it made sense, and probably it might be the content could be useful for the people who are starting with DevOps, or like are looking for opportunities or business in DevOps. Yep, I'll be sharing the PDF.
I'm just sharing the link for recorded session from where you can get the recording. Obviously, we have already shared everywhere, but anyway, I will try to share it again. And there you go. So here, every recording and everything would be there. Even the streaming was happening here also in parallel. So there are people on the streams who are listening directly from their dashboard. We'll share, like, the PDF will get attached within a day or two here, so you can come back later and see. Or we'll update it on Telegram once we update this page. Obviously, recording is already there, but we'll do a fresh, like, there was a fresh recording also happening. We'll upload it and update it. Thank you everybody for joining. Thanks a lot.